Hello guys, welcome back to this Node.js tutorial. So in our last slide we had added this background color into the application, and right now the EJS template has been linked with the CSS styling. So if you go ahead and reload, you can see the blue background has been added on there. So let's remove this styling. This was just for testing that the CSS has been linked to the template. So right now what I would like us to do, um, let me reload the page real quick. Right now what I would like to do is add a navigation, that way a user can have a way of navigating back to the home page and also navigating to the add user page. So to do that, if we go to our VS Code, and then I just remove the background color, so now our index.css is empty right now. So we go to the user.ejs. Right beneath the body we need to add a new div right there, and with a class of nav. So just type .nav and click enter. This is going to create a div element with a class of nav. So inside our div we need an a tag, which is going to be pointing to the home page, and then in there we can put something like a text, like maybe a logo, and then we need an ordered list, and one of the list item we need to add an a tag pointing to the users route, and then the name of this link is going to be users. So we need another way of navigating to the add user page, so we need to add another li tag with an a tag in there, and for this one it's going to be navigating to add user. Remember to add the s at the end, and then the name of this link is going to be add user, just like that. So if we go back to the browser, refresh the page, you can see we've added the logo, and if you click this one, it's going to just redirect you back to the home page. Same case to the users, and then also when you go to the add user, it's going to redirect you to the add users route. So right now let's apply some styling, that way the logo is right here towards the left, and the users and the add users is towards the right. So we can achieve that using the display flex. Remember we have the parent div is the as the class nav, so we can just go ahead and target this nav class and then add the display flex. So if you go to the index.css and then just do a .nav, do a display of flex, and then maybe justify content, you can do space around like that. So let's see, sorry for the delay. So what I just did is, because in our template the parent div has a class of nav, what I did is I went into the index.css and then added the .nav, and this is the .nav class, and then just added the display flex and then justify content to space around. So if we refresh the page, you can see the logo has been moved towards the left, and the other links are towards the far right there. So we need to add another display flex on this UL, that way they are inline. So to do that, go back to the VS Code, and remember the parent div of this, actually the parent element of this li is an ordered list right there. So we can target this UL and apply the display flex, just like the way we did on the .nav. So down there, just do an UL and then also display a display flex, and then you can do a gap maybe of 30 pixels, just like that. So if we refresh the page one more time, you can see now everything is in line. So we just need to remove these styles right there by using the the list style to none by setting the list style to none. That way we don't see the dots, and then also the text decoration, we need to set it to none. That way we don't see the underline right there. So to do that, let's go to the list style, the li, and then the list style we have to set it to none. Okay, and then the a tag, we need to set the text decoration to none. So right here, if we go back to the user.ejs, so you remember we have the li right there, and this li is the parent of the a tag. So what I did is I went in there and said li, and applied the style list style to none, and then also for the a tag we added the text decoration to none. So if you refresh the page, you're gonna see the dots has been removed, and also the underline. So another thing, I need to set this inline. That way, as you can see, the logo is a little bit towards the top. So we can target our .nav right there, and then just do the align items, and then inside our .nav right there, just do the align items to center. So that should be able to move this towards the center. So everything is now working correctly. So if you click on the add user, it's gonna take you to the add users route. If you go back to the users, it's going to reload the page, because this is pointing back to the users page. And if you go to the logo, it's gonna try to go to the / the home page, but because we redirected the home page to point to the users route, that's why you see it goes back to the users route. So everything is working correctly. So let's go ahead and maybe add some styling to the H1 right there. So beneath the A tag styling, we can do maybe like an H1, and then maybe font size we can set it to maybe 28 pixels, like that. So if we refresh the page one more time, you can see we added the font size to 28 pixels. So I would like us to add a table. That way this data we're getting from the file is inside a table, and we can do that easily by using the HTML table. So just go ahead and search tables, maybe HTML tables, like that. So just click on the first link, and so I'd like us to add something like this right here. So that way we have a column for the name, we have a column for the phone, and a column for the email. So as you can see, a table in HTML consists of table cells inside rows and columns. So it is a simple table with a table right there. It has a row with the table head, another row with the table data. So we can use this one in our project. So let's go back to our VS Code, and inside our template, just beneath right there, let's add a table right there. So we can remove this row. We don't need this row, because we're going to be looping through our data. So just one row is enough, because the for loop is going to use the same row to output depending on the number of items in the array. So the table head, for our case, remember if we go to the user, user.json. The user.json has a name, field, the phone, and email. So this is going to be like the title of each of the columns. So for this one we can use the name, and then the other one we can use maybe phone, and also the other one we can use maybe email. So now for this one, let's see. Okay, so I need to move this table row and the table itself towards the top right there, because we're not going to be looping through the table head. We're just going to be looping in the table data right there. So let me go ahead and get this table row right here, and then paste it inside the for loop right there. Okay, so let me get rid of these other spaces. So right now the table data has some dummy data, so we need to remove this. And remember, our p tag was accessing the data as user.name. So for this first data, we can set it inside the table data right there. So that's going to be the name field. Let's go ahead and remove the p tag, and then try and format the code a little bit. Okay, so we are looping through the data. We first checking if the length of the data is greater than 0, meaning if there is some data in the array, and then we're using the for loop to look through the list of users. And then once we get all of each of the users, we set the user.name to the first their data right there, and then the first field in the row. So we need to access also, we need to access the phone and the email field. So to do that, we need to use a similar syntax right there. And for this one, instead of the name, we can just say user.phone. And then for this one also, we need to remove that and then set this to user.email, just like that. So if we go back to the browser real quick and then refresh the page, you can see now the data has been inserted into a table. But to be able to see this table clearly, let's go ahead and add maybe a border in the table, and then also some padding in there. So if you go back to the docs one more time and then click on the borders right there, you're gonna see that to add a border, use the CSS border property on table head, and table data element. So this is what they are doing in the doc. So just they are setting the border to 1 pixel and then the color black. So we can do a similar thing in our project. So just go ahead and add this styling. So we are targeting the table. We are targeting the table head and the table data with a border of 1 pixel, and the color is going to be black. So let's go back to the browser and refresh. As you can see, now we have a border around the table and around the table head and around the table data. But as you can see, it's a little bit small, so we need to add some spacing in there. If we go back to the docs one more time and look at the padding and spacing, okay, so it says to add padding on table cell, use the CSS padding property. So now they are targeting just the table head and the table data, and we can set the padding to 15 pixels. So in our VS, and paste the styling in there, and then just go back to the browser, refresh the page. You can see now we get this nice looking table. He has a table head with the name, phone, and email, and now all our data. We have 3 items in our array, so it's being populated inside the table rows. So it's looking good. Now we can just move this towards the center right there. Okay, so in our user.ejs, this table right here, we can just let's see, let me see if you I don't know if when you target the table and then just align item center, I don't know if it's gonna move the items to the center. Let me double check on that. Align item center, let's see if that is going to work. So I think we need to add maybe a div, so we can do maybe table div, and then I'll put this table inside the div. So let's see, so the table div. Okay, let me double check that on the browser real quick. Try and refresh. Or we can just set the display to flex also. Maybe display flex, and then align item center. Okay, so so guys, I had trouble centering the table. That's really common with the CSS. So what I did is just go ahead and search for align table center, and then click on the first link right there. And as you can see, we don't even need to add another div in there. We just need to add a class right there, and this class is center, and then we're adding the class in the table, in the table tab, and then we just need to set the margin left to auto, and then margin right to auto also. So let's remove this div right there, and then now we need to add this class, with the margin left auto and the margin right auto to the table. So let me go ahead and actually I just added the class. So go ahead and remove the div element. We don't need it. And then let me format the code a bit. So inside the table, just set the class to center, and then if we go back to the application and the load, you can see without the class. Let me remove the class, that way you can see. So if you refresh it, it was right there before, right? So with the new class added, right there, the new class added, the center class, and refresh, you can see it's been moved right there. So we need to just move the h1 also towards the center, and we can just set the text align on the body element to center. So let's go to the vs, and then inside the body, now right here you can add a class right there on top of the nav right here, and then just text align center. Okay, so we go to the browser one more time and just refresh. You can see now it's been moved to the center. So I think this is looking good, and this data, I hope you guys remember that the data is coming from the for loop, and the for loop is looping to the user data. So next, I would like us to add some remember, if you go to this add user page, we don't have the EJS template right there. So I would like us to add a form inside the template. So this template is going to be the one that's going to be rendering the add user when you go to the add user page. So let's go ahead and add that EJS template on our next slide.